We recently came back from a trip to Corfu, Greece, and let's face it, there are so many hotels in Corfu. Choosing where to stay can sometimes be really overwhelming. We opted to stay at Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa, and I honestly didn't know if this hotel would live up to my hopes and my expectations. So did we make the right choice? Would I recommend this resort? I'm Lynn from The Seasonal Touch. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Now, I'm all about making home your haven, but I'm also really passionate about travel. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you some of the details of our recent trip to the Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa. Hopefully, if you're thinking about a trip there, it'll give you a lot more information on what to expect and help you to make the decision, about is it the right hotel for you? Or maybe it'll just throw up some things to think about when you are picking your next holiday, some things to consider that you never really thought about thinking about before. So I have stayed in some resorts under the Hyatt Hotels umbrella of brands previously, but I'd never stayed in a Dreams resort and I'd never stayed in any of their European resorts. And so I wasn't really sure what to expect. How would it compare to some of the other resorts under the Hyatt brand that I'd stayed in before? Had I made the right choice in choosing the Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa? Well, let's take a look. So the Dreams Corfu Resort is located in the village of Gouveia, which is about a 20-minute taxi ride from the airport, probably cost around €35, and about a 15-minute taxi ride into Corfu Town, costing maybe €25. And we visited in September. Now, as of September 2023, the resort is just coming to the end of its first full summer season as a Dreams resort. Hyatt had bought the previous hotel and completed a full refurbishment, and it opened as a Dreams resort about midway through the 2022 summer season. It's in a really pretty hillside spot and the resort runs right down to the sea. It sits in a bay with its own private beach, and because of the geography around this part of the island, it really feels like you're on a lake rather than being at the sea. The resort sits down a driveway from the village of Gouveia itself, so there's a smattering of shops, cafes, restaurants right on your doorstep, including a couple of ATMs, but it is really a pretty small, low-key village. And the whole resort operates under Hyatt's unlimited luxury, all-inclusive basis, so everyone's staying at the hotels on the same fully all-inclusive package. So there's no wristbands, no showing of room keys, no signing for drinks, nothing at all like that. Just makes the whole experience completely stress-free. So the hotel consists of a main building, 2 or 3 separate large blocks of rooms and a variety of bungalows, which are all located among the gardens on the hillside leading down to the sea. And there's pretty paths that weave their way throughout all the bungalows for access. Now, Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa also has a preferred level with its own lounge and drinks terrace in the main building. It's got its own block of rooms and its own pool area. Would it be worth the upgrade? Well, more on that later. There are 2 main pool areas, each with their own bar, restaurant, and then there's the beach. And there's also an outdoor theatre area. The decor has got a really lovely, modern, contemporary vibe. There's definitely a bit of kind of beach boho going on. On the whole, the interiors are pretty stylish and give you that relaxed, tranquil feel that you're looking for when you're on holiday. As for the exterior areas, well, most of the landscaping is really well cared for with beautiful palms throughout, planting and gorgeous grasses swaying in the breeze. There's a couple of spots in the landscaping that definitely are looking a bit less loved, but hopefully that'll be next on the refurb list. So looking at all the kind of public areas of the hotel, there's a real indoor-outdoor feel throughout. The doors and windows are all opened up with ceiling fans helping to lower temperatures. And this indoor-outdoor vibe continues throughout the whole resort. So although indoor areas are definitely cooler than outdoor, you'll never get that ice-cool, air-conditioned chill. The reception is light and airy, leading to what is arguably the resort's best asset, the main terrace. This serves the main buffet restaurant and is the perfect spot for breakfast, lunch, and if it's still light, dinner. There's also a small cafe in the corner serving hot drinks and snacks, and this is also the main bar entertainment area in the evening. We stayed in a double with sea view located in the main building situated just above the main terrace. The neutral colour palette and contemporary decor style continues through all the rooms and bungalows, and our room benefited from having a huge terrace complete with loungers, chairs and a table. And I was never able to work out if the rooms above ours were the same grade as ours because they had a much smaller terrace. So if this room type appeals, it might just be worth contacting the hotel and asking them how you get one of the sea view rooms with the big terrace. The bathroom was really stylish too, with great smelling toiletries and a really good rain shower. The rooms are very well appointed. There was a fridge stocked with water and soft drinks which was replenished as needed. There was a great hair dryer, you know, the kind that you can plug in where you like, not one that's attached on a ridiculously short cord like some hotels are. No, this one you could just take where you wanted to plug it in. There was also a clothes steamer and an espresso machine, and again the capsules were regularly replenished. We also really appreciated the bedside USB ports and the bedside plug sockets, and one for the girls, a big one, sockets beside the mirror. How many hotels are still getting that one wrong? As I mentioned, there are 2 pools available for general use. The lagoon pool is a large pool within a fenced off area to the front of the hotel with a variety of fountains and waterfalls within it. There is a gradual beach type entry to it at one side and then a step entry at the other end. There are loungers on the patio deck all around it, and there's more tucked into the grassy areas off to the sides. This pool also has another toddler area tucked away at one end of it, which is sectioned off, stopping the little ones from venturing into the main pool. There's a pool bar here with its own swim up section, as well as poolside waiter service, and La Trattoria Italian restaurant is also located poolside here. It's open for lunch most days and a couple of times a week for dinner. The infinity pool is located right down at the bottom of the hill next to the beach. It's got loungers along a paved deck on 2 sides, and then there's additional loungers in all the surrounding grassy areas. And this pool's got a separate toddler area too. There's a pool bar here with poolside service, along with a couple of restaurants open for both lunch and dinner. I think the lagoon pool with its shallow entry and full toddler pool area complete with loungers is the one that's really meant for kids, but because it's completely unheated and the infinity pool here is fully heated, this is the one that seemed to attract most of the families. And we stayed in September, which is prime time for families with babies and preschoolers, so that lagoon pool got very busy and very noisy because of this. And although the lagoon pool certainly attracted some families, the continual sound of the water fountains made it a much more tranquil spot for adults. So, yep, the water felt initially cold, but with temperatures nudging 30 degrees most days, it was really refreshing. This hotel doesn't have an adult-only pool at all. So in fact, there's no adult only areas at all in the whole hotel. So that's really something to bear in mind when deciding if this hotel is the right one for you. On arrival at the hotel, you're asked to download the hotel app, and this is where you'll find a full list of the day's planned activities. The entertainment team will also come round the pool, let you know there's going to be water aerobics in 10 minutes, or maybe on the beach they'll tell you there's going to be French bull over on the grassy area in 5 minutes or whatever. But the app is where you'll find everything. There's a spa in the resort, plus an indoor fully air-conditioned gym. On this trip I didn't use either, but my husband was pretty happy with the gym and reckoned it was good and well equipped as far as hotel gyms go. There's also an outdoor gym area along with an outdoor games court, and rackets and equipment and things can be picked up from reception. And there's also a kids club for ages 4 to 12. In the reception area, there is a mini market selling essentials, such as sunscreen, toiletries, any little thing that you might have forgotten, souvenirs, small toys, that sort of thing. And you'll also find an independent car rental desk and a desk organising tours and day trips. There's even a library shelf if you need another beach read during your trip. So what about the restaurant options here at Dreams Corfu Resort? Well, there's a main buffet which serves breakfast, lunch and dinner, and with the exception of a couple of hours between meals, it's pretty much open all day. There are also a couple of a la carte restaurants which are not open every night, but there are usually at least 2 open. And it's worth pointing out that the hotel website says there are 5 restaurants, and to be fair, it does say on there in small print that not every restaurant is open every night, but I just think it's worth reiterating that. Reservations need to be made for these, and you can do this through the app. The restaurants are only available to book about 2 to 3 days in advance, and you won't be able to book anything in the app without your room number attached to your profile. So as soon as you check in, it's worth getting on the app and checking out what's available for the next couple of nights. And then after that, just get into the routine of checking the app in the morning and making your booking for the next available date. Now, the other thing that can really make or break your stay is the service. So how is the service at Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa? Well, on the whole, we found staff to be really friendly, helpful and eager to make sure that we had a really great stay. And it's very apparent that they put a high value on this. For example, on day 3, we received an email asking for feedback on our stay so far. And it had been mostly pretty good, but there were a couple of important things that I felt were worth mentioning. Well, this triggered almost immediate contact from the manager, who was extremely keen to find out more. And it was clear that he had a really genuine desire to both make sure that we felt heard and use any customer feedback to drive improvement. And that's a really big tick in my book. So what were the things we really loved about this place? Why should you go? Well, we really loved our sea view room. Yep, we had the restaurant terrace right below us, which did obstruct the view a little bit. But we really liked that it made it very private. You know, you should be aware that some of the bungalow balconies are a little bit exposed to anyone wandering by on the path. So that's just something that you should consider if that might bother you. We really like the convenience of being in the main building. You are right above the evening entertainment though, which can be loud, but it's only from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock, and that doesn't happen every night. A top tip for the sea view room type though would be to request one with a big terrace, but not overlooking the terrace roof, as there were a few rooms to either side of us where you would get this. So as ever with room requests, the hotel will never guarantee it, but it doesn't hurt to ask. We loved the light and airy decor style, and the buffet restaurant terrace was a real highlight. It really is a beautiful spot. We love the beach here, which is pretty unique. There's no shoreline except a tiny area at one end, so no having to tread over rocky pebbles and stones as can be the case on a lot of Greek beaches. Here, getting into the sea is pretty much like getting into a pool. Because it's not a traditional beach, we found that the families didn't really venture down here as much. So if a more tranquil, kid-free zone is what you're after, then you might find this down on the beach. We loved the very comfy loungers, and in September we never had any issue getting free sun loungers. The beach bar service was great too, and there's always staff on hand to keep you hydrated. We really love the scenery in this part of the island. Due to being surrounded by mountains and being generally wetter and more humid than other Greek islands, Corfu is recognised as being the most green and lush of them all, and this is really apparent here. It really is a beautiful spot. We also really loved how close this resort is to Corfu Town, and we visited a couple of times during our stay. Our boat trip there from the hotel's own pier was a real highlight. Along with a whole range of water sports, it's just one of the activities that they've got on offer. Spiros, the boat owner, is great. He even served cocktails. Well, kind of. The round trip costs €23 per person, and it's about 40 minutes each way. It's just a fun way to get to Corfu Town, and whether you go by boat, by taxi or by the number 7 bus that runs right through the village of Guvia, I definitely recommend visiting. With its maze of shopping streets in the old town, ancient forts, great bars and restaurants, amazing Venetian architecture, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is definitely worth at least one visit during your stay. So, what of the hotel's preferred club? Is it worth the upgrade? Now, full disclaimer here, we did not go for the preferred club on this trip. On an all-inclusive stay, it's sometimes difficult to justify it unless it's got a very specific draw. The preferred rooms here are located in a separate building, and I did think that yes, the sea view rooms here looked great with their glass fronted balconies and uninterrupted sea views. The other preferred accommodation option that might tempt me is the club bungalow with frontal sea view. So these bungalows are, as the name suggests, the bungalows with prime position right down at the beach facing the sea. The thing that I honestly wasn't tempted by was the preferred club pool. It's obviously for preferred guests only, but it's right next to the main path through the resort, so it's easy to take a sneaky peek at. I just didn't like the look of the layout, as there's no pool deck around the pool at all, and the loungers are all kind of in rows down on the grass. There are some swim-up rooms though, so if you really wanted to treat yourself, then this might be the way to go. The preferred club has its own lounge in the main building where you can have breakfast, and this leads out to a very small terrace. While it's likely that your preferred room or bungalow will be in a better spot, the other preferred status amenities such as in-room minibar, capsule coffee maker, etc., they were all available in our non-preferred room, so I'm not quite sure what other extras you're getting. All guests checking in are welcome to a seat and offered champagne too. It's just that the preferred guests are taken through to the preferred lounge to do it. We've certainly stayed in hotels where upgrading to a club level has been worth 10 times what we've paid for it. I'm just not sure that that's the case here. Now, as I said, we didn't have preferred club status, and this opinion is purely based on what I observed in the resort. But I'd just suggest thinking about it this way. If you're booking preferred club to get the room you want a swim-up suite, you want a frontline bungalow, you want that full glass front sea view balcony, or a room in another prime location, then absolutely go for it. That room's going to come with some additional benefits that you might or you might not use. But if you're booking it purely on the perks themselves, then I'm just not sure it's worth it. So, what's my final verdict? Do I recommend Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa? Yes, absolutely I do, for the right person. What do I mean by that? Well, this resort won't suit some, while others will absolutely love it. There's been a lot of noise in the reviews online about this place not being 5-star. Well, of course it is. It is 5-star, but it's all relative. Hotel ratings are given out on a whole list of criteria, and Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa certainly qualifies on all counts. Now, the tricky part comes where potential guests don't consider that not all 5-star resorts globally are created equal, and that's just a fact. Gleneagles Hotel here in Scotland, the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, both 5-star hotels, but I'd never come to Dreams Corfu Resort assuming it's going to be on the same level. It's all relative. This resort is best for guests with realistic expectations of a European, all-inclusive 5-star hotel. It's probably not best yet for guests looking for gourmet meals. While gourmet food is part of the Dreams brand promise, it's not quite there at this resort yet. The food on the whole is great and completely in line with similar type hotels in Europe, but the a la carte restaurant experience is probably the one thing that's still a victim of the resort only having one full season under its belt. I've absolutely no doubt though that given time and the obvious will on the part of management to get it right, that by next season this too will be a real asset to the resort. It's best for families or those who don't mind being on holiday alongside them. Dreams is, after all, a brand with families in mind. And while the hillside location isn't ideal for guests with mobility issues, we saw plenty of guests being whizzed around in golf buggies, so don't let that put you off if that's a challenge you face. All in all, Dreams Corfu Resort and Spa is a great choice, and if it turns out to be your choice, I really hope you have a fantastic stay.